Let's freaking go! A very fun video today looking back at some of the best throws and plays in LSU history. Of course, this is the great Joe freaking Burrow. And as many of you know, this LSU versus Auburn game was an absolute mess that we were able to win. Okay? So, when you think of Joe Burrow's best games, you don't ever really think of the Auburn game, right? Look, this was a game where his QBR versus Power 5 teams was his lowest at 85, which is still an absolutely ridiculous number. Joe actually ends up getting sacked by his own guy.
No, we played some really, really good defensive teams. And today was one of them. They were tough all around the field. Big guys up front played very, very well. They challenged us on the edge. They were physical outside. It's good to get that kind of win.
They were launching our offensive linemen directly into our quarterbacks for sacks. And this was like this in the run and the pass. And Auburn's defense was so good versus us in this game. They played 88 plays, which was a season high, and they still held us as the only defense to keep us under 6 yards per play in any game this season. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. And if you love deep LSU content such as this one, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, because this, honestly, is one of the more impressive basic slant throws I have ever seen. So first thing, as you can see, 3 sacks already in this game, and they are just controlling the line of scrimmage. So this time we're doubling Derek Brown, and we're going to get this football out quick. We can get into a deeper breakdown about why Joe knew that the slant was going to be just open right off the jump, but for brevity, we're not going to get into that. And look, the most impressive thing about this slant right here is when Joe decides to throw it, okay? Look, he is ripping this ball to Justin Jefferson, who's always very patient off the line, and look at when he's deciding to throw it, all right? Boom. Jets is just now getting ready to break in. The ball is already being released out of his hands, and look at the timing of that. Right when he turns, the ball is right there. That is such an impressive catch, taking not one but 2 big hits right there. A little rabbit punchy right there in the back of the neck. That's brutal. All right, it's 3rd down. And once again, LSU, they stay true to their principles. They love to go 5-man empty. So Auburn, who's, destroying these one-on-one matchups, they say, look, we're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. You have no idea where we're coming from. And this is what I want you to remember right here for a Jaden Daniels film study that we're going to do later in the week. Our line of scrimmage basically crumbles, okay? And that happens, right? You have rough games up front against SEC fronts, and you see Derek Brown just destroys his pocket, but now Joe has got to make something happen, okay? They lose some pass rush lane integrity here on the back end, and Joe, this is just Heisman freaking material, okay? Now, yes, you got a break after the end of the first quarter, but remember, he just got hit in the head by his own guy. He then picks up this 3rd down, and this is one of the hardest hits I have ever seen an LSU quarterback take. And from this angle, you'll see, Joe was trying to look somewhere down the field to throw the football. He was so good rolling out to his right. He had a 1st down versus Isaiah Simmons, who's one of the fastest linebackers we've ever really seen in college football, where he outran him to the sideline. But as you can see, tell me a harder hit you have seen a quarterback at LSU taken after his legs got taken out from under him, and then he just pops right back up.
If your quarterback shows toughness like that, it can kind of get the team going. That's just what I try to do every day. In the weight room, on the field, taking hits, getting right back up. I think I was in bounds. Yeah, I think it was a clean hit.
All right, 1st down. We're not going to spend too much time on this. Look, Auburn wasn't even set. They were not even set, right? So, look, we have them right where we want them, right? We're going to run versus their lightish box. It's blown up again by one person. It's Derek Brown. Again, now he got away with the little face mask right there. But still, okay, our line of scrimmage is just evaporating. So here we go, 2nd and 11, 3.3 yards per play. We averaged a record 8 yards per play versus Power 5 teams during the season. So Derek Brown's tearing us up. We decide to triple team him. So it's one-on-ones on the outside, rush 3, drop 8 principals. And this time, actually, Joe makes the only mistake I think he made all drive. Okay, so this is essentially smash on the backside with Clyde Edwards-Helaire occupying this flat defender. So this ball right here probably should have been fired to Jamar right here once Joe saw that this corner Etheridge, who was also a very high-round draft pick, was flying down on Clyde. So this ball probably should have been thrown here. It also potentially could have been thrown here, but this honestly is still pretty impressive, okay? You rarely see a college quarterback able to do a full progression read. So full field, all the way over here to here, and look at where this ball was actually put to Thaddeus Moss's side of the field, okay? You know, footwork got a little jumpy there. Who cares? Eventually he sets, and look at this, baby. Look at where this ball was thrown versus Roger McCreary. God, it's just excellent, excellent, excellent stuff. So we pick it up here on this 3rd and 5, and one thing that the last play didn't show was Joe Burrow took yet another hit. You're taking in a few all 22 shots of that throw. It makes it all the more impressive to Thaddeus Moss. And maybe you guys disagree, the initial throw to Jamar wasn't open. Now this one actually gets open again. We are running mesh, a play that LSU runs a lot of now. Okay, so obviously this is a very Mike Leach concept. You're running a drag here, tight ends running a hook back right here, running a go to this backside right here from Clyde, and the goal of this is to actually throw this football to Jets or Jamar Chase. Ball couldn't have been thrown to Jets. There was a defender right here, but if he would have stepped up, maybe this ball could have been thrown to Jamar right here. 9 is undercutting it, so it is a little bit dangerous. And there is also the potential for Joe to tuck and run through here. But guess what? I would avoid Derek Brown as well and go to the outside, and let's see if we can make another play with our legs. Jamar does what receivers are taught. Jamar is one of the more fundamentally sound receivers. All right, you'll see it right here. Nothing open. So Jamar sells vertical and then works backside or works back to his quarterback. That is exactly how it's taught. And look at where Joe places it. Only where his guy could get it. And once again, Jamar, you're never bringing him to the ground. Makes a very nice catch to move the chains. Now, this time, we get pretty decent protection, and Joe gets a very nice pre-snap read, okay? This single high safety is all the way over here to Jamar Chase's side of the field. We have a corner with inside leverage, and we are running a slot fade. So look at all this space we have to operate with one of the best receivers to ever lace up his cleats. So Joe has plenty of time to throw this football, but look at how this corner gets on top of this ball right here, and Joe makes the right decision to back shoulder fade it. The coverage is just good. Alrighty, so the more I study this game, the more I see how well this game plan was from Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele.
Yeah, they came out on a defense that, we hadn't seen from them all year, and we hadn't seen from anybody else. So it kind of took us a while to get used to what they were doing and figure out how to attack it in the second half.
So I want you to see this is 5 seconds left. Look at where Auburn is right now, and notice where their defensive backs actually rotate right at the snap. So 21, Smoke Monday is inverting out of here. But the guy I really want you to focus on here is Etheridge at the very last second, okay? Now remember, Jamar's cutting all the way across here. This corner, instead of playing off right at the snap, not only presses Jamar, but this is as innermost inside leverage as you are going to see. As you can see, he's right next to the defensive end. So that makes this that much more difficult for Jamar to get all the way across here. Now, remember, this is a long developing play, and right off the jump here, I want you to see the hand fighting. Boom. Okay, Jamar does a good job not letting Etheridge get a good jam into his body, and he just hand fights him. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. This is a physical game. Wow. All right. So Joe rolls out to the right to give this time to clear out. And look, the coverage is really good. And look at where that ball is placed to Jamar Chase right in stride. Really good coverage. And Jamar picks up again. Man, I'm telling you, he very well could be the most athletic football player ever. I mean, if you bring him down, he pops right back up. Bam! I'm looking at you. Let's get some music going. Why not? Because we're grooving now, baby. The LSU offense is cooking. Nothing really too fancy about this. You know, when you have so much chemistry with your receivers and you actually get a really good pocket, good job by the Joe Moore award-winning LSU offensive line. Joe throws an absolute perfect back shoulder ball right there to Jamar Chase. And once again, he's never easy to bring down, folks. Let's go. Roger McCreary, who actually caught an INT versus Jamar later in the game. That is just so good. I mean, they really worked McCreary in this game. McCreary actually had some really good coverage there again. And, we just kept attacking and cooking 23 in this game. So this time, play action fake to the left. All right. And now we are going to run it to the right. All right. So very easy pre-snap read right here. If Justin is running vertical, that's probably going to occupy this safety. So we got all this space right here to deliver this football. Joe, look at this. He looks to the left, knowing to the right that was going to be open. And look at where this ball is placed. All right. Good job by Terrace Marshall. All three of LSU's top receivers are some of the best mid-flight hand fighters you're going to see. Boom! I'm looking at you. Yes, you right now. So I hope you guys drop a donation, Venmo, Super Chat, anything you possibly could do to help grow this channel. This is something, as you guys can see, is something I've been working on for quite some time, and we're very lucky that the great Matt Flynn actually helped us out, because we are putting together some of the best drives and some of the best throws in LSU history, doing some off-season content a little bit different than, of course, the current present day. Now, before we play Flynn to Byrd here in the background, we actually heard from the man himself, Matt Flynn. His best throw in the history of LSU football was actually the guy he backed up the first few years of his career, Jay Russ to Early Doucette versus Arizona State. So eventually we will get to that. So I'm really looking forward to diving deeper in the history of LSU football. Now, there are so many of you that wouldn't even consider the drive that I showed you the best drive versus Auburn. A lot of you say this is the best drive or potentially the best throw in the history of LSU football. Of course, you have Earthquake Game. Of course, you have the Bluegrass Miracle. There are so many out there. I don't know if I would consider this even Flynn's best drive. I would say the Florida drive. It's kind of hard to argue that Auburn drive that we broke down today. 10 plays, 89 yards, but it was actually 98 yards because of the negative yardage off the sack. So really a 9-play, 98-yard drive that started at the 2 on a 2nd and 18, and Joe taking 2 shots to the head, 3 shots overall. And look, we had all our best guys step up and make big plays on that drive. Really fun film studies coming up here on PHL, taking a look not only at the history, but hopefully the future with Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier, and all that good stuff. So once again, subscribe, ring the bell, and don't forget, later this week, a really fun Jaden film study on what we showed you a little bit earlier, okay? Now, if you want to know my favorite drive in the history of LSU football, boom. This was actually, it'll be floating in your face in a second. One of the earliest videos we ever did with PHL, we actually had someone associated with the staff help break this drive down versus, well, just click the video. You're going to love it. It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! And tonight, we're doing buffalo chicken. Let's go.